My favorite part of Six Flags would probably be the water park.
And the wildlife section, I think, is a big difference and a big plus.
I was really surprised.
Six Flags Worlds of Adventure. So big, so close.
Save $10 with coupons from McDonald's.
Save up to 80% buying Factory Direct. The jewelry factory makes most of their jewelry in their state-of-the-art factory, imports their diamonds direct, and guarantees the lowest price. Compare Tiffany's 1-carat platinum band for $5,800 with the jewelry factories for $1,500. 1-carat hearts are $199, 2-carat bracelets $349, 1-carat studs $399. The jewelry factory has a huge selection and guarantees all the jewelry they make to appraise for at least double. Buy Factory Direct, the jewelry factory in Livonia.
This is 62 CBS Eyewitness News.
A drug buyer is dealt quite a blow when he dials the wrong number. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being with us. I'm Rich Fisher.
And I'm Amyre Makupson. Well, what started out with a telephone call to purchase pot leads to one of the easiest drug busts ever. That's because the buyer called the cops on himself. 62 CBS Eyewitness News reporter Tara Wall is live in Canton with this story. Tara?
It's probably the easiest and the funniest drug bust ever made by a cop, and it just goes to show you, you never know who's at the other end of the line. It started with a simple phone call.
Hello? And I answered, and the caller asked what was going on, and I said, not much. Well, what do you want? He says, well, I want a ½ ounce. Well, which at that time I presumed was marijuana, and he wanted to meet me at a party store in Taylor. I didn't think anything of it, hung up the telephone.
It was after a second persistent phone call insisting on a buy that Detective Champagne met the two suspects here at the Speedway gas station in Canton.
On the second telephone call, he sounded desperate. He said, I want to meet you now. I want a ½ ounce of marijuana.
The detective left his home, called his station, and went in for the bust.
And I pulled up on them and asked them, what do they want? And they explained they want a ½ ounce of marijuana, which at that point in time I asked them for some money, and they showed me $75 in cash.
4 backup units arrived. Canton police made the arrests, confiscating a car and hundreds in cash. The attempted buyer completely oblivious to how he got caught.
He obviously dialed the wrong number, didn't know who he was talking to on the other line.
Now, the suspects were arrested and then released. No charges filed yet, but the prosecutor could consider charges of conspiracy with intent to buy. Reporting live in Canton, I'm Tara Wall, 62 CBS Eyewitness News.
That is a pretty dumb criminal. Thank you, Tara.
Sure.
Rich?
New tonight, one person is hurt after an SUV drives into a motel room. Witnesses say the SUV was driving at a high rate of speed when another car cut it off. The vehicle drove over a median, hit a flagpole, and slammed straight into room 134 at the Econo Lodge on Telegraph and Grand River. No one in the motel was hurt, but police say the SUV driver is in serious condition tonight.
A new case of domestic terrorism turns up in a U.S. mailbox, this time in Colorado. The FBI says the 6-inch bomb is similar to those found in Nebraska, Iowa, and Illinois. This one turned up in Salida, Colorado. That device is the 17th pipe bomb found since Friday. The last one surfaced in Nebraska. No one was hurt in that state. The bombs wounded 6 people in Illinois and Iowa on Friday. A live pipe bomb was found close to a local elementary school today. A janitor at Hayes Elementary in Westland saw the pipe bomb. It was just a few hundred feet from the school. A bomb squad detonated the device before it could do any damage. No one was hurt, and the school was not evacuated. Police say the pipe bomb is not related to the domestic terrorism cases across the country.
An elderly man is dead after a crash on Detroit's west side. Police say a Thunderbird and a Sunbird collided in front of a Citgo station at the intersection of Schoolcraft and Granville just after 5 this evening. No word on the exact cause of that accident.
New tonight, Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick is preparing for a 4-day trip to the Middle East. He's headed for Dubai tomorrow. Kilpatrick says that he wants to create economic ties and establish a sister city relationship with that city. Kilpatrick envisions Detroit as the hub of trade between the Middle East and the West because of the area's high Arab American population. Rich?
President George W. Bush was in town today. He came to a Southfield school to show America an example of success. Just a few years ago, test scores at Vandenberg Elementary were the lowest in the state, but now they're among the highest. The president says that's because educators are now held accountable for student performance. It's part of the president's new education initiative called Leave No Child Behind. The initiative also places emphasis on diversity.
I believe one of the strengths of America is our diversity. I know one of the strengths is the common values that we all share. And I saw that living example in the classrooms I visited.
62 CBS Eyewitness News reporter Blake Chenault took a tour of one of the classrooms and shows us what the president is talking about.
President Bush got a first-hand look at what's called a multi-aged classroom at Vandenberg Elementary. It's made up of 4th and 5th graders, and part of the success here comes from the older kids helping the younger ones to learn.
And by teaching that lesson, they learn it better themselves. And then the younger students have role models to emulate. 14
different languages are spoken at this school. And while students learn English, they're taught pride in their own heritage.
Diversity is not only important, but totally necessary for freedom in America.
All the programs here are enhanced with federal dollars under President Bush's Leave No Child Behind initiative. The Leave No Child Behind initiative provides an extra 25% in federal funding for schools, but in return, schools must test kids in grades 3 through 8 regularly. And those kids who test poorly are provided the option of tutors.
Fantastic school, fantastic school.
Carolyn Clifton's son just recently made straight A's. Hard for anyone, especially for a child diagnosed with hyperactive attention deficit disorder.
This school is living example of great progress. Kind of at the bottom of the measurement standards, if I'm not mistaken, 5 years ago. And now you're soaring off the chart.
In Southfield, Blake Chenault, 62 CBS Eyewitness News.
All right, Blake. The president, by the way, will continue his education push in several states over the next few days. Amyre?
The testimony of captured Taliban prisoners could set American Taliban John Walker free, but that's if their testimony is allowed. Walker's defense team wants the U.S. government to let some of the Guantanamo prisoners take the stand at Walker's trial, but prosecutors want to allow only taped answers to be played back during the trial. Walker's lawyers say that violates his constitutional rights to a fair trial. A national accounting company has now sold its Michigan offices. It's part of the fallout from the Enron scandal. The Chicago-based Arthur Andersen accounting firm is about to go on trial for allegedly shredding Enron-related documents. The company says it feels good about its chances in court, but prosecutors say the jurors only need to believe that one employee at the firm destroyed Enron documents. Boston's Cardinal Bernard Law has been ordered into court. A judge wants Law to answer questions about the sex abuse scandal concerning priest John Guygan. That judge was concerned that Cardinal Bernard Law would be called away to Rome on church business. Law will give a deposition to Guygan on Wednesday.
Meanwhile, 2 priests with Detroit connections have left their positions after allegations against them surfaced. The Archdiocese says allegations were made against the Reverend Tony Conti and Dennis Leish. Conti has now resigned as pastor of the All Saints Catholic Church in Memphis, Michigan, and Leish has taken a temporary leave of absence from St. Alfred Catholic Church in Taylor. Allegations against the two were contained in documents that the Detroit Archdiocese gave to prosecutors this past week. Well, scrap the thoughts of getting Mom a blender or even flowers on Mother's Day.
Give her a day of relaxation at the spa. This experience will leave her feeling like she just left France. I'll tell you about a new trend. Jim?
Can write that down. Thanks. High yesterday, 77 degrees. High today, 69. Right now, 59 degrees outside. First warning Doppler showing activity in the state. In fact, there's a severe thunderstorm. We'll talk about that. Add your wall side window on tomorrow morning. Cloudy skies, 56 here. Full forecast right after the break. Rich?
Plus, the girl next door grew up to be the girl next to one of the most famous couples in television history. We're going to visit the local neighborhood of Joyce Randolph. You may know her a little bit better as Trixie. Trixie Norton of The Honeymooners. Stay with us.
My dad's going to build us the coolest treehouse.
I don't have a clue what I'm doing here.
Well, let's see what you got. Oh, wow, a treehouse.
He can build anything.
Never built anything before.
Relax, I think you're in the right spot.
He wants a trap door.
Balcony, rope swing.
I'm going to suggest 16 penny.
You can do it.
You sure I can do this?
He's a genius.
Trust me.
All right.
Dad?
Yeah?
Thanks.
Don't spin your wheel.
Get on the right pathway, the right career pathway. Check out the Arts and Communications pathway for careers related to all aspects of the performing, visual, literary, and media arts. Examples include artist, journalist, graphic designer, and interior designer. If you value creativity, consider the Arts and Communications pathway for careers by choice, not by chance.
For more information, call toll-free 866-MY-GOALS or go to talentfreeway.org. And remember to stay in school.
Working on the rollbacks, prices going down, down. Working on the rollbacks, whoop, another goes down. Working on the rollbacks, prices going down, down. Working on the rollbacks, whoop, another goes down.
Get the Walmart rollbacks. Working hard to save you even more.
Working,
always.
Working.
Crossing Over, weekdays at 5:30 on Detroit 62 CBS.
Did you just see her dancing in that commercial? You are good.
I wish they were rolling tape in the background. The other room.
Maybe they were. We
We'll have
could
to tell
show
them
it
to
as
do
a
that
kicker
sometime.
tonight.
What's happening with the weather, Jim?
Well, let's talk about the weather. That's a good idea.
Okay, good idea.
Actually, we're going to see a little nice day tomorrow, a little rain the day after that. Numbers in Detroit today, 69 degrees, your high temperature. A little fog out there right now, 57 your morning low. And we did pick up a few drops of rain, 1,500 officially at Metro. Outside currently in Detroit, cloudy, 59 degrees. Relative humidity is 100%. The air is saturated. No wind. The air is currently calm. And the barometer is rising. It's 29.92. All your local readings, these 11 o'clock temperatures, 59 at Metro, 61 now at City Airport, 57 in Mount Clemens, 61 at Port Huron. Windsor checking in with 59 degrees, 57 for Monroe, also 57 Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti. Howell and Brighton, 59 degrees. Readings mainly in the upper 50s, low 60s. Very mild outside, but again, it's a little muggy out there with that relative humidity of 100%. Local high temperatures today. Ann Arbor, 67. Detroit hit 69. A little cooler than our 77 yesterday, but still not too bad. Pontiac, 67 this afternoon. Mount Clemens, 70. And Port Huron, 73. Allergy alert for today. Tree pollen is in the high category. Mold is also in the high category. Let's jump ahead and look at summer. May, June, and July. This is all the way through July 31st. We're looking at mild conditions, normal conditions, temperature-wise here in the Great Lakes area. Everywhere you see red, which is mainly in the southernmost tier of states, going all the way into the southwest, they will be warmer than normal. And how about precipitation? Well, the only really wet spots will be in the central U.S., parts of Kansas and Missouri, and the western U.S. along the Pacific coast, and that's about it. We'll be normal here in Detroit as well, so at least the first part of the summer looks fairly normal. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, we've got showers and thunderstorms going on right now across the Great Lakes area, right across Lake Michigan, into Oceana and Newaygo counties, where they have severe thunderstorm warnings out right now. That pattern will continue to roll toward the north and east and away from us. Severe thunderstorm watch box still in effect for parts of Wisconsin and Illinois. Down here, we're just looking at cloudy skies, and we're looking at a little bit of fog here and there. Here's a severe thunderstorm I was talking about right now. You can see it kind of breaking up and losing a little bit of its identity, but again, these are some very powerful storms which will continue to roll this way. In the meantime, that's all along a cold front that'll be moving through the Great Lakes during the next 24 hours, and by tomorrow morning should be just southeast of us. So we'll wake up to cloud cover tomorrow morning, and then some sunshine by tomorrow afternoon, at least partly sunny skies, and temperatures actually in the 70-degree range, maybe even low 70s in parts of southeast lower Michigan. So that's not too bad. Overnight lows tonight mainly in the 30s and 40s in the north country, 50s down here in the south. High temperatures tomorrow right around 70 degrees, and again, that's warmer than normal for this time of the year. Now your forecast. Clouds and isolated shower possible tonight here in the southeastern part of the state. 56 your low. Then for tomorrow, Tuesday, clouds, some afternoon sun possible. 74 your high. Southwest winds 10 to 15. Then for the next 5 days, 74 tomorrow. 66 will take a big drop on Wednesday with some showers and thunderstorms, and scattered showers Thursday. We'll drop to 62 by Friday, then back up to 67 Saturday. Here's Mother's Day. Sunday, maybe some showers, 69, then back to the 70s again. And tonight's question: what produces a blast of wind stronger than a hurricane? Two choices here, a sneeze or a cough.
Because I think it's a sneeze, it's probably a cough.
Well, we'll check it out later.
We'll see. Okay.
Which one are you taking? The cough?
Yeah, because I really think it's a sneeze.
Okay, I'll go with the sneeze.
Okay. Well, here's a question for you. It has nothing to do with sneezing. Maybe it does. What if you learned that your surgeon was on call for 24 hours straight? How safe would you feel going under the knife?
Now, you know, if that thought worries you, you're not alone. Working grueling working hours for medical doctors makes patients at times very, very uneasy. Roxanne Evanida has tonight's Eye on Doctor's Hours.
Well, resident doctors are under constant supervision. Many work 36-hour shifts and as much as 130 hours a week. Research shows after 24 hours of sleeplessness, a person's motor skills are equivalent to someone who is legally intoxicated.
Left maxillary sinus.
Long hours and little sleep. It's part of the job for a resident doctor.
There have been days that I've been here 6 a.m. to 2 in the morning the next day and sleep a few hours and come back.
Out of 168 hours in a week, many doctors can be found working as much as 130 hours. Residents turn here to the American Medical Student Association website to post some very frightening stories.
I was operating after being up 36 hours and was holding retractors. I literally fell asleep standing up.
Practically every surgical resident I know has fallen asleep at the wheel.
There are too many deaths. There are too many injuries.
Congressman John Conyers Jr. is looking to change the system. He introduced the Patient and Physician Safety Act last November. Under the bill, residents are limited to an 80-hour work week and 24-hour shifts.
There was an increased number of accidents in hospitals, particularly in operating rooms, and frequently where resident physicians are involved.
So how safe are you with a doctor that hasn't slept in days? The average stay of a patient is 4.5 days. Residents are required and request to stay with a patient as much as possible.
If you're not there to do it, despite the fact that you may be tired, then it doesn't get done and patients suffer.
Most doctors don't think twice about the rigorous demands. Oftentimes they take short breaks here and catch 15 minutes of sleep when they can.
24% of the time, patients can take ill when it's convenient for physicians. Most of the time, unfortunately, they take ill at times that are inconvenient.
Educators agree limits should be in place, but not at the expense of valuable training.
I think we would all agree that people leaving medical school, despite having the credential of a medical degree, are not actually ready to go out and practice medicine independently.
New York has already passed the bill. Still, there's no proof it has made a change in patient care.
There's language there that the resident would only get 8 hours off in between shifts, and I'd argue that that probably is not enough time.
Cuts in federal funding, increased premiums, and the closing of public hospitals all contribute to the problem.
What we found was astounding, that resident physicians are really indentured servants in the medical field.
Congressman Conyers says residents are forced to work grueling hours or lose the chance to practice. Federal laws are already in place, limiting the hours for truck drivers and pilots. But most doctors argue there's no comparison.
Someone has to be there at 2 a.m. when a patient is incredibly sick. And if you wanted convenience, you should have gone into banking, but you went into medicine.
At times, there may not be much of a choice, but you should ask the doctor if he or she is rested. And if you still don't feel comfortable, you should ask for another doctor. I'm Roxanne Evanina. Back to you.
And now back to Johnny Jam.
But was it ever funnier than those two guys on TV? I got to tell you, tonight, America watched right here on 62 CBS as the cast of The Honeymooners celebrated its 50th anniversary.
But did you know that Ralph and Alice's friend Trixie hails from Detroit and lived on the city's northwest side until she was 19?
Yeah, 62 CBS's Mike Bowersock tells us the history of this local girl who became a TV star.
16853 Stansbury on Detroit's west side. This was the family home of Joyce Randolph, known as Trixie on The Honeymooners, Ed Norton's wife.
She cut her acting teeth in this area near the old Mercury Theater here on Schaefer. But then in 1944, at the age of 19, she joined a touring company of the play Stage Door, and she never looked back.
She wanted to be an actress. You know, the theater drew her.
Her brother and sister-in-law live in Canton, and the life of Trixie and the Honeymooners is still very much alive. Even the family cat is named Norton after Art Carney's character.
I distinctly remember sitting there as a family and watching Jackie Gleason. So that was a real thrill when I met him, because I grew up watching that.
As for Joyce Randolph, she lives in New York. While her parents were alive, she returned to the family home every year to visit. After the honeymooners, she married, had a son, and went into semi-retirement.
I had a wonderful husband, a wonderful son. I wanted to spend time with them. I didn't want to be running around the country doing work that I didn't have to do. It's wonderful, sure, to be part of something like this. It's wonderful. Things were simple and clean. Jackie said the show had to be clean and had to be funny, and it was. And maybe that's why people love it so much still today.
At her old neighborhood in Detroit, the Mercury Theater is vacant, living only in the memories of those who knew it. As years go by, the same can be said about the honeymooners. In Detroit, I'm Mike Bowersock, 62 CBS Eyewitness News.
Wow. I used to go to the Mercury Theater up there on Schaefer and 6 Mile.
Yeah, years ago. I heard that for all the years they worked together, they were never friends off the set. None of the cast members.
Well, Gleason never wanted to rehearse, ever. And that used to get the other cast members a little nervous because there was always a lot of ad-libbing going on in that show, which was, I think, made it
maybe made it funny,
oh,
spontaneous and funny. Yeah.
Well, 5 years, 18 countries, and hundreds of thousands of miles.
That's how long it took a South American couple to get to Ohio. But the journey, it isn't over yet. We'll tell you why they're on their way to Detroit in a '49 Chevy.
I'm attorney Richard Bernstein from the law offices of Sam Bernstein. In partnership with 62 CBS, I'm proud to host Making a Difference, a weekly series spotlighting those whose dedication to our community is making a difference. The Macomb Infant Preschool is predicated on the belief that the early training of infants and toddlers with special needs best serves their future education. Infants and toddlers who require special attention because of impairments in hearing, vision, or speech are accepted up until age 3. The children, their parents, and other family members benefit from an active participation.
Are a billion-dollar business, and yet after spending all of that money, we're afraid to be seen in them. So we hide behind baggy cover-ups. This season, get ready with Weight Watchers Winning Points Diet. Eat your favorite foods, stay within your daily points range, and you'll look great in that suit. Call 1-888-3-FLORINE now and join for half off. Weight Watchers members have an appetite for life.